All right, I guess we on. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lee. I am a spiritual healer. And technically, what I do as a spiritual healer is that I help people to become mentally and emotionally balanced. And the way I do that, pretty much, let's just say, if we are referring to being emotionally balanced, I help you to understand how your emotions are being created. Then, now for you to identify your emotional patterns. Because ultimately, when we're talking about emotions, we're dealing with energies, right? And within energy itself, there's messages, there's living intelligence. So that's why, you know what I'm saying, whenever when energies comes together, there's always comes conflict or exchanging. I mean, pretty much, the whole psychic ability derives from either you picking up on somebody's emotions, meaning energy or energetic field, what they're saying without them saying it to you. Do you see what I'm saying? So, but that would be on a whole different level. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say here, when we talk about um, emotions, for you to, it's the idea of how do you drive a car if you don't know the different aspect of the car. I mean, you don't have to be a fucking mechanic, man, but you got to know the brake, the gas pedal. Like, you got to understand, you know what I'm saying? How else would you drive the car? So it's the same idea that implies for you to become emotionally balanced. You have to understand how your emotions work, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, in addition to that, you would also need to understand how your mind, your intellect is being conditioned, because in other words, you want to know how have you been trained to think. And essentially, when we're talking about mind control, that's what that is. How have you been trained to think on a regular basis? So, pretty much us spiritual healers, truth seekers, or ascended masters, however you want to call it, what we do now, we're trying to set your mind free by teaching you pretty much how for you to tap into yourself. I mean, that would be the bottom line of it. But going back to you understanding how your mind is being conditioned is very important. How else would you master your own mind or intellect? That's why I'm gonna go ahead and say it. That's why when I talk about spirituality, and I will be talking about that as well, it's your fucking humanity. Because we're talking about, without me getting too much ahead of myself here, when we're talking about spirituality, it's just everything. How your mind, the spirit is being influenced. And then as you learning more about your nature, then we talked about your emotional part, then your intellect aspect. So you like, okay, who the fuck am I? A living mind, a living intelligence. That's why you change your thinking, you change your life. But now for you to become in alignment, for you to receive the highest source of thinking, you got to become in alignment with yourself. Your emotions and your intellect got to come together. That's what being a holy man is. Because if your emotion is not up to par, that's why we'll say some people are fucking emotional. meaning their emotions override their intellect, right? So we say it in our language, but this is all a reflection of us. This is all us. That's why I talk about culture. It's not like you're not gonna be spiritual. And here's something else too, without me getting ahead of myself. That's why I always take the time to talk about spirituality because it's almost like, let's just say, if this is your first time watching me, and here I am talking about spirituality, and at the same, let's just say, if we were to talk about the game last night. Oh man, you see the game last night? Because that spirituality wouldn't be part of your regular life. That's why most people, when it comes to spirituality, they always look at it as being outside of you. But anyway, I'll get to talk about that a little bit more. But now culture plays a big part on how your mind is being trained to think. Your culture plays a major part. Example, right? In our culture, we look at marriage as love. When we come to marriage, marriage means love to us. So the idea of arranged marriages is so cruel. Like, it's just so harsh. It's almost like it's against humans' right. You see what I'm saying? Because we view marriage as love. Now, within the same culture that we are, right? And then when we get married, well, just go back. Let's just say you were drunk. You know what I'm saying? Then you go back the next day. Let me just get a divorce. I mean, if it hasn't been sent to actually like CDR. But the bottom line of what I'm trying to say is, get out of it. It's a legal process. So that means it was legal to begin with. That's what marriage is, a contract. Your love has nothing to do with you fucking getting married or not getting married. So I'm saying this to say here we are in a culture where our culture itself is blinding us from the same reality that we're actually fucking living here. That's why your culture is biased. For you to be in your full element, you got to go beyond your culture. Anybody has to. Because ultimately, when we're talking about cultures, the way niggas do shit, okay, you don't take, okay, when you take a shit, you actually don't sit down. Some niggas, in some cultures, niggas just take shit. You didn't stand up and take shits. That's how we do it here. All right. That's why your humanity is your spirit. I mean, your spirituality is your fucking humanity. To transcend this reality means you have a better understanding of it. You grasp it. You embody it. But anyway, that would be for a whole different conversation. Whereas that's why it's always good to expand your mind too. You know what I'm saying? Now let's just say those other cultures. Now they say, guess what? Marriage is not just love, motherfucker. In fact, it's a contract. So us, the elders, we're gonna negotiate this contract for you, make sure our family benefit you, and it also benefits our name, our representation, our image, and all that shit. And the fucking elites, they understand that. Yo, can you imagine, nigga, if I were to get married to, let's just say, to some Tulsa bitch, nigga, I'll probably be sitting in the Tulsa right now. Or if not, I'll be privileged to certain information. to certain, let's just say gala, what I'm saying, to certain shit that the average motherfucker would not be, because now I would be a legal somehow related to them. Those are political moves. Those are business moves. Those are contracts. So now these niggas will tell you, you know what? Let us negotiate that shit for you. I'm not saying this is better than the fucking other. I'm just letting you know, when you're able to see it from that. Like for me, I could see it from all angles. I mean, how else would you be whole? But most importantly, I'm also telling you that I'm in control of my mind. But anyway, I mean, there's so many different things that are being said, but most importantly, the message, I mean, the point here is that, you know, you have to be in charge. In fact, to be mentally balanced, you got to be in charge of your mind. And then that's what it takes. That's where, what I'm saying, you got to become more conscious. You got to know if you want to drive a car, well, there's a brake. You don't have to be a mechanic, man, but there's certain shit you're gonna know. This is the wheel, this is those tires. You may not know how those other part works, but for you to operate the car, nigga, you gotta know how it works. You gotta know how it works. A lot of niggas become mechanic mans by fucking default. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, essentially that's what I do here. Now, if you're coming back, you already know my niggas. And just so you guys know, since we were talking about culture, it's only right that I mention, I do say the word nigga a lot. I mean, it's not, what I'm saying? I don't mean nothing with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm originally from Haiti. It's like you would have the president of Haiti would have, let's just say, it's there's some sort of presentation, or they're addressing the nation. You know what I'm saying? And these niggas, let's just say they had a fucking meeting with the senators early on today. We met with these niggas. So I'm saying all that to say it's just a cultural thing. I don't mean to offend nobody. So you're gonna get a whole lot of niggas over here. That's pretty much what I'm saying. You coming back, baby. You already know what we do here, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. We bless each other. Each one teach one. I'm here, man. I'm doing my part, baby. So now with that being said, welcome back, motherfuckers. Now, as part of my routine, guys, especially if this is the first time, you already know. After I salute you niggas, yeah, he's about to talk about it. But now, if this is your first time, as a spiritual healer, spirituality is a tool that I use to for me to actually be able to reach out to other people or to share my understanding with others. So it's only right, what I'm saying, that you understand what spirituality is, or at least I tell you how I see it. It's only fair, you know what I mean? And I try to do the right thing. But anyway, with that being said, just like I was talking about earlier, right? A lot of us will look at spirituality as something that's being outside of us. Meaning, like, the game reference I was talking about. It's like, oh, I could see that, but oh, okay, that's over there. You know what I'm saying? As if, the people who become spiritual are living a whole different life than, but anyway, enough said. Spirituality is just a story of us, of humanity. is being said in many different ways through cultures, gods, religion, but ultimately it's a reflection of you. And let's be honest, there's no God without us because I'll give you a perfect example. If you're a Christian right now, Muhammad means shit to you. Moon means shit to you. And that means you created your God, you have accepted your God. That's all that is. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Muhammad is still good, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never hear nigga talk about Jesus and shit as if, okay, Jesus, you know what I'm saying? You going hard, Jesus is the only thing. And the nigga was doing Islam, Jesus is only, I mean, Muhammad is his only thing too. It's like, how do you want it? You can say yours is better. I mean, you have your experience, he have his. And that's the bottom line of it. So ultimately, when we're talking about spirituality, it embodies everything. And then when religion and all of that is being said, and then ultimately, then when you get to know about our nature, then you understand like we are living like thinking beings. Well, what does that mean? Change your mind, change your life. You want to get a better life, like you know what I'm saying? Everything is knowledge. It's intelligence. In other words, you are forever evolving and becoming. That's why people who become successful, they tell you you don't want to be comfortable. In other words, they're telling you keep changing, keep evolving. It's being said in different ways, but ultimately, this is you as a being. So the idea of spirituality being outside of you is rhetoric, man. It's crazy. It's ignorance. It's stupid. I mean, I didn't mean to feel make you feel that way if that's how you were looking at it, but it's totally ignorant. You don't know shit about you at all. Not even your intellect. Do you have a subconscious mind or conscious mind? Like, how much do you know of you? And that's what the occult does too, by the way. Anyway, it's all coming together. Ultimately, it's all the same shit. So truly, spirituality is your fucking regular life. Now, your understanding of your regular life changes based on your consciousness. Meaning, a nigga like me that became a little more conscious, I look at life as more than dick and pussy. A motherfucker that doesn't see it that way, life to him is dick and pussy. He's not wrong. I mean, he's definitely not right, but he's not wrong. That's why your purpose is to become the Christ, meaning the enlightened. That's why the whole purpose of you waking up to become, to remember, reconnect, to know who you are. That's my work. That's why I'm here to let you niggas know. And then and I'm pretty much telling you, look at me. You know what I'm saying? I remember. Eh, You know, now's your time to remember. When you're ready. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? But the word, but I gotta spread the word. I gotta spread the word, baby. I can't wait on you. I'm just doing my job. If you ready, you ready. Or if you're seeking for it, because I've been there. I knew when I was seeking for it. You know what I'm saying? And some niggas wouldn't have to say shit twice. Like I just knew the vibration when I heard it. I was on that time. But the beauty of everything. But ultimately, what I'm saying is spirituality, or I mean, it's more than just fucking religion. It embodied everything, how you think, this world, us, our true nature. That's what we're talking about. So, in other words, that's your concern, nigga. I'm not pushing no shit on you. If you don't know, you don't know. That's your fucking life. That's your business, nigga. The fuck? Yeah, let me know. You might know something I don't know, nigga. Obviously, she, and you do not. I know what you know. So I'm trying to get you to know what I know, nigga. You ain't telling me nothing I don't know, nigga. So again, spirituality, it embodies everything. It cannot be it cannot be outside of you, it cannot be put in a box. Because ultimately it's talking about us, our nature. And it's being said in different ways through different cultures, just like I was talking about. And then now you have the separate text. That's when the occult now comes in to give you a deeper understanding of your reality. And then around you, you have what the Kabbalion calls material science, who's improving, who's getting better, who's giving you a better understanding of the reality that you know what I'm saying, that let's just say you work at McDonald's, you know what I'm saying, you walk into McDonald's. However you choose to look at yourself, I'll leave that on you. Okay? But you're still the champ, though. You're still the champ. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I feel like I'm saying the whole lot. So now, when we're talking about spirituality, it's you. It's your life. Now, through religion, is being said different ways. And of course, that's when you have to become mentally balanced so you can transcend the bullshit and attain the highest level of yourself, your highest level of intelligence. That's what the Christ is. And that highest side of you, that's when you transcend different plane. Now you became cosmic. You became part of the Father. You became one with the Father. That's why in this plane, we forever gotta be evolving and changing. Because that's how we literally transcend those different planes. But anyway, in a nutshell, spirituality is nothing but just your regular life. But due to misunderstanding, it's being labeled as, you'll probably think, first thing, somebody meditating. I mean, that's good. That's part of it. But it's not the act of meditation that makes them who they are. It's when they realize who you are, because we are all spirit, but not all of us are spiritual. You become spiritual when you activate that spirit in you. When you start to make that connection. So then now you understand, okay, I need to meditate to elevate myself. So those would be some of the steps that you will take as you start to remember. Come on, you're putting the pieces back together. That's when you understand you are, you know what I'm saying, you are who you are and more. And that's pretty much what we're doing. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys. I mean, welcome back. So with that being said, spirituality is your regular life, man. That's you wiping your ass, Nick. You're a spirit wiping your ass. That is right. Correct. But anyway, so I wanted to delve into, you know what I'm saying, the shadow self. I mean, I talk about your shadow self a lot of the time, and but I touch on it on different aspects. Tonight, the way I want to talk about it is in the sense of your true self and your false self. Because ultimately, now that you know we are all spirit, so when you maintain or you get into your essence, that's where you become pure. That's where the truth, you become the truth. You know, it's those, what is it called? I think it's those seven spiritual laws, whatever the fuck, come action. It's like you open up, you know how they said in the Bible, you know, you don't want to, how the fuck? I can't recall. But anyway, I think I talked about it on my other channel. But anyway, so technically, you know how Jesus was saying not to live by your flesh. You see, that statement is misunderstood by a lot of people because they always look by when they say not to live by the flesh. The thing they think about is dick and pussy. It's partying, it's smoking, it's drinking, not drinking. That's not what this shit is talking about at all. This is truly talking about how you refer to yourself. If you identify with the flesh and bones, meaning you identify with the external aspect of you, and that's what you have in society. Now, that external part plays a big part into the shadow self. That's where I'm trying to take you guys. Because as I said earlier, right, society teaches you how to live on based on who you should be. So when you are repressing that self of you, that part of yourself is being stuffed somewhere. Because, you know, as spirit, now let me be clear, right? Because knowing your true self doesn't mean you don't have a shadow. Just like when we talking about your ego, being conscious doesn't mean you do not have an ego. Being conscious means you have a better relationship with your ego. So when we talking about when I'm just mentioned being your true self, right? Because I'm gonna be talking about the shadow self, and I'm talking about pretty much, you know, um, what I'm truly, I mean, your shadow self. When you become conscious, it's like dealing with your pain. When you become conscious, it's not that you don't know about your pain, but you know how to cope. That's where the art of transmutation comes in. We transform the energy. So, how can I say this? So, going back to your true self and the connection it has with your shadow self is that when you identify yourself and following your true self, you are connected to your shadow. Whereas a lot of people who operate from not being who they are, their shadow is what controlling them. Meaning their true self is not, it's not exercised. It's that's not what they're talking about. So it's got to be something else. It's that image, what they have to look like, what they represent, and that's where the shadow comes in. And that's what I meant by the whole. No, no, no. That's not what when the shadow comes in. I apologize. Let me take it back. Your shadow's always there, but I'm trying to show you when, let's just say, you're being true to yourself, the shadow is there, but you're dancing with your shadow. Whereas when you're not true to yourself, what you're doing is you are neglecting your shadow. In fact, you've been disconnected from the shadow. That's when you see people that are being triggered, they don't know what the fuck happened. You may think they're being in denial. I mean, because you see it with yourself, of course they are fucking in denial. I'm not gonna say not, but they are possessed at that particular time. I'm also showing you the complexity in us too. That's why the Indian called this Maya, which is a world of fucking illusion. But I'm also showing you that you're dealing with spirit here. Each one of us, all of us. That's why they say you don't know somebody until you get to know them. So what does that say? What does that mean? It's not the physical aspect of the person that you're looking to get to know for you to know them. Oh, okay. So what is that other part of them? So that's why we are all visible and invisible. As it is within, so it is without. Now, I'm not trying to lose you, but that part was needed to be said. That's what makes you a multi-dimensional being. I have that on my other channel. By the way, check out my other channel. I'll probably link it somewhere. Pretty much, you know, what I do in that channel is a little bit different, but ultimately it's all spirituality. Technically, I have chosen to, I pretty much expand on certain quotes, on certain saying or proverb, because I feel like those are fully loaded statement that, some of them, what's understood doesn't have to be explained. But the ones that I talk about are the ones that open up the door for a conversation. That helps you to, like, to give is to receive. When you understand a statement like that is fully loaded, but it also opened up the door for so many different conversations. To give is to receive. It's big. It's a fully loaded statement. It could be understood on so different level. That's you inhaling and exhale. That's the negative and the positive. That's as it is within, so it is without. But anyway, let's get back to the shadow. The aspect that I wanted to touch on is that, I mean, it's the shadow part, our view. I mean, let's look at it this way. A lot of us have been raised by the shadow of our parents. It was not these niggas that were actually raising you. It was their shadows. So I guess what we're doing here, we're trying to identify when the shadow is not in control. I mean, it's controlling them. And then when you slay your dragon, it's not slaying it to kill it, meaning you are in charge. I mean, they're trying to show you that you kill the shadow, but you ain't killing shit. Just like you ain't killing your motherfucking ego neither. In fact, your ego is your best friend, nigga. My ego's my best friend for you deep niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because apparently, in the deep spiritual community, you know what I'm saying, the ego get charged. Oh man, a nigga got a headache is a motherfucking ego, dog. You know what I'm saying? Your ego have nothing to do with shit. It's all you. You a stupid motherfucker. You got a stupid ego. That's all it is. Your ego is there to protect you. It does what it does. When you start to expand your knowledge, guess what you're doing? You are expanding your ego. So your ego is not your fucking enemy at motherfucking all. But somehow this nigga, he must be at last. Because he carries all the spiritual baggages, nigga. All the bullshit the motherfuckers are talking. I guarantee this what it is. But anyway, to get back to, identifying, because ultimately that's what you gotta understand that. That's part of the journey. That's how you, as let's just say, if you want to call yourself a light being or the conscious one or the Christ, I'll just call it the Christ, if that's okay with you. As the Christ, you have to create your boundaries. You know what I'm saying? That's when you ascend. You know what I'm saying? Hey, nigga, don't touch me. You know what I'm saying? I gotta talk to my dad first, bitch. It's gotta be that because a lot of us, and this is also to show you that you're dealing with more than a person. You see, when people become envy and jealous of other people, it's almost like they are being possessed. There's a spirit that's their shadow. These people are living in a haunted house. I'm trying to get you to see the spiritual aspect of what's taking place. But again, we're dealing with it in different layers and different planes. That's why for me, I already deal with these niggas up there. So over here, shit, as it is within, so it is without. So you already know. That's why I have no enemies. My enemies, if you call yourself my enemy, you're not never gonna lose. You're never gonna win. If you call yourself my enemy, you're never gonna win. Yeah, I mean, you don't believe me? You know what I'm saying? That's what Jesus was trying to tell niggas, man. Yo, I'm the way. That's what Jesus was saying. I am the fucking way. Nobody else goes through the Father without going through me. That was him saying how he becomes the connection, how connected he is. Oh, this is for the living, man. That's why we here spreading the word. Please tell them what you see. Please do. You know what I'm saying? Because we're giving sights to the blinds, man. I'm saying the mute are now speaking. You feel me? Everybody. You know what I'm saying? The beauty, oh my God, man. of being in touch, of becoming the Christ. It's beautiful. The connection, the level of reality, the transmutation too, because it's all about that, right? Your evolvement. Like I evolved so fucking much. It's like, the different planes and understanding realities. I embody it all, and that's how we got to where we are. I know, I know, I did it. That was me, nigga. Shit. The name of the game is consciousness, man. That's why I'm here, man. Hopefully, you'll get to understand. That's why your humanity is your spirituality. This is your spiritual battlefield. This is your growth. This is where you opened up your chakra, nigga. Your kundalini, whatever the fuck. Your third eye. You open up your third eye. Why? So you could transcend, have a deeper reality of this reality. That's how you to be free of matter, you embody matter, not separating yourself from it. That's for the amateurs. That's child talk. You see what I'm saying? Nah. You see what I'm saying? It's like, can you imagine? That's why us in African spirituality, we embody dance. We understand the spiritual aspect of dance, right? Because as you're dancing, you get to release yourself. That energy, part of who you are. That's why there is such a thing as dancing. That's why in African we have African dance. Oh, you gotta see that shit. You know what I'm saying? When the spirit's coming through and all that shit, and you gotta experience that. Now, I'm giving you the cheat code. I'm trying to help you to get to see it on a different lens, on a different light. Because ultimately, this is what spirituality is all about too. It's not how much you see, but it's how you're looking at it. The more conscious you are, well, the more you look at reality differently. Like I always tell people, right? My son is 5 years old. This nigga's all Spider-Man right now. I mean, shit, he's doing all that. I share the same space with him. The same time, my reality is not. You know what I'm saying? One of them is to make sure this nigga keep going. Shit, nigga, we can even fly, nigga. Go do all that shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying all that to say, you know what I'm saying? It's another way of saying to support the motherfucker. Shit. So I'm here. But here we are. I mean, as an adult, the travel, the time, the experience. So this is what we're talking about. So essentially, who the fuck are you, dog? I know. I know. So that's why for me, I spend a lot of time just to talk about spirituality. I could just get in here, talk about spirituality, you get it, and then I felt like, yo, you grab because ultimately everything else that I'm talking about is to get to that point, or for you to get to that point, or maybe by me talking about the shadow self, which is revealing what your true self And as you being a spirit, then you have a shadow self that is not managed, that is not acknowledged. And that's why you have a shadow side of you. You have a shadow side of you, dog. Out of your energy. You want to call it Lucifer? How would you like to call it? That's on you. Or that can also be your dark side too. So for us who became enlightened ones, we don't neglect the darkness at all. In fact, we're aware of it. That's why I always tell you niggas, you have to understand the science of ignorance, right? You gotta understand it. It's like in other words, like I always like to tell niggas, if you can't tell me the science of ignorance is this, if you can't tell me how stupid you used to be, well nigga, you probably still stupid. And I say probably just to be nice. I mean, just to be politically. I mean, just to be political here. I'm being political. Shit, I'm talking out shit. You know what I'm saying? How else do you want it? I'm just styling. Bullshit is bullshit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's always been quality, man. It's never quantity. As it is within, so it is without. But anyway, it's just to show you, those different aspects of your spirit. So what we do as what you call, that's why a light worker, that's why when you see Blade, he was a day walker and a night walker too. That's the understanding behind it. You cannot be of the light. You know what I'm saying? That's why for me, you know what I'm saying, shy bitches and motherfuckers like, so you can't curse, like, oh my God, use profanity, which is fine. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to use profanity. That's fine. But you all innocent? What are we talking about? I mean, I understand it. Some people may not choose you yet. I get it. That's fine. But that doesn't mean like what? What? What does that mean, dog? So I'm saying this to say, again, all comes down to our true nature. And that's what pretty much spirituality embodies. And when you understand about the sacred text and spirituality, that's what the whole idea is all about. That's what the whole thing is all about. It's all about, you seeing a deeper aspect of you or getting to know you more or evolving because that's what consciousness plays a big part. Because the more conscious you become, and then you becoming more conscious, and that's how you transcend. Then you realize when you see those movies like Transcendence, it's just your nature. But you must ascend by descending or descending to ascend, however the fuck. Ultimately, what this is the flesh got to be made. I mean, the words got to be made flesh, and that's the key. In other words, you have in this life, this is where you have to forgive your mom. You have to, whatever the fuck your situation is, you were raped, you know what I'm saying? You transmute these emotions. So, in other words, it's taking place, let's just say, for lack of better terms, on the external world, that's how it's showing. But in the internally, this is you transforming yourself. This is you understanding your certain environment does not define you. You define yourself. Those are the internal work that are taking place. That's why they tell you want to change the outside or change the inside. So this is the two side of the spirit that you're sharing. So you have your now the difference is some people are being led, if you want to say by the dark or their shadow self, because they're not in tune with their higher self or their true self. And now when you're dealing with parents or a family that did not do their shadow work, meaning did not acknowledge their oppressing, they didn't forgive themselves or their oppressions. I meant to say, I apologize. They didn't acknowledge their whatever the fuck it is. They have not transmuted their emotions. Guess what? They have to project that on you. That's what some people call generational curse. But it's not a generational curse. It could be a generational pattern. Because all that I get it. If you want to be biblical, that's fine. But true science is just a pattern. Because it could be at the same time, it could be a curse too. If it was made through a spell. I mean, I get it too. It's all good. It's all good. But ultimately, that's how you transmute shit. I just gave you the science on how if somebody put a spell on you, that's how you handle that. And I'm gonna leave that there. If you get it, you get it. You know what I'm saying? You get it, or you go, boy, or you go, girl. You know what I'm saying? This is for the living. But ultimately, what I'm truly saying here is that you truly delving into people because the world is not what it looks like. So you think you know somebody based on on what they look like? That's what this world is, an illusion. That's what makes it a fucking illusion, guys. That's your concern. This is the world you're living in. And ultimately, man, the point here is that, oh man, there's so many things that are being said. I don't think I should label it anything in terms of giving it but ultimately, I'm trying to get you to see both sides of you. One, the shadow self is when you acknowledge it, then you dancing with yourself. There's a harmony. That's what mastery is all about. That's what self consciousness is. That's why man is both visible and invisible. You have to embrace both part of you. That's how you transcend the visible part of you. Let that sink in. You don't let that sink in for you. The way to transcend matter is by going through matter. Then you realize it's not even matter. When you get to know yourself, you get to know even the body. Then you realize there's no body without you. And guess what? When that happens, that's when your body dies and your spirit lives on or takes on a different form. So then you know your body's nothing but a fucking extension of you. That's how you change your DNA, your aura, whatever the fuck, however the fuck you want to say it. You have. Mm, I hope you caught all of it. Keep the chain. So ultimately, you know, we're talking about then acknowledging your shadow self, being in a holy communion with your shadow self. Same thing with your ego. There's no war. That's how you transcend. Literally, then there's no matter. If you understand as it is within, so it is without, you worry about the without. Do you say fuck humanity? If it's as it is within, so it is without. The discussion, that's not even a discussion. That's not even something we talk about on this side. That's why the true masters we're not concerned. That's what it means. Because we know the truth. We're talking about different planes here, man. Yeah, that's why even in physical or material physics, as Kabbalion calls it, they quantum physics. Let's just say, okay, fuck everything I just said right now. Quantum physics tells you, nigga, the pussy you banging, the car you driving, it's not really what it is. It's condensed energy. You argue with these niggas. I mean, they're smarter. They got the datas, you know what I'm saying, the graphs, the percentages, the you know what I'm saying, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Have at it. While you at it, you know what I'm saying, jerk yourself up. Like shit, enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself, nigga. Wow. Beautiful. You see what I'm saying? So it's like tomatoes, tomatoes, man. But we always understood that, by that's why a light worker gotta walk the dark side, meaning you gotta be aware of your shadow self. You gotta be aware of your shadow self. Whereas these other people, when they're not of the light, for lack of better terms, and that's what you're dealing with. And that's the war between good and evil. The war between good and evil is the shadow self who is not recognized. And then you have what you will call the good side of it that know who I am and all that shit. And then now these motherfuckers operating from their shadow self, envy, jealousy, and all that shit, greed. Those are your seven in that movie, fucking with Brad Pitt, and that's what they were talking. But of course, they didn't talk about it that way, given that this movie was a Gnostic movie. They give it to you from a one-minded perspective, meaning they telling you the bullshit that because they strip intelligence out of this world. It's like there's no consciousness. Humanity is just humanity. Like they're showing you. In other words, it's like it's the problem is just your flesh. Because of your flesh, you get fat, and that's not true. There's more to you being fat than you. That's what they were talking about. Because if you're flesh, then you fucking greedy. No, motherfucker. We were trained to be greedy. The fuck? It's a gloomy perspective. It's a one-sided. That's what makes it little. It's one-sided. So just because you're born here, you're automatically bullshit. That's why they identify this world with just bullshit. Because fuck the material. So they think the more they suppress the material, the higher they get spiritually. Illusion. Ill fucking illusion in your mind, nigga. Not in the world that I'm living in. Again, that's not your world. Because you do see what I'm saying? And all of that based out of, you know what I'm saying, like the Adam creation, if you're looking at it. Because these niggas, that's the Christian perspective, or mainly European, because they create that separation, which is exactly what the illusion is. Because how can you tell me as it is within, so it is without, and then what? If you say it as it is within, so it is without, there cannot. You're not thinking in terms of separation. That's why we say, nigga, change your mind, change your reality. Not separating yourself from the outside. That's dumb. That's some dumb shit. That's the fucking illusion. Instead of you changing within, you said fuck the without. Like, what the fuck? I mean, okay. But if we're saying as it is within, so it is without. So we want to change the outside. We should, okay, the outside don't even exist then. Then at that point, the outside don't fucking exist because you know you got to go within. But you don't separate yourself from that. And that's how you don't free yourself of matter until you embody matter. That's the idea we follow you know what I'm saying? That's the idea of Jesus saying, what is it called? We're not here to abolish the law. No, no, nah, man. We accomplished the law and more. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, enough said. I guess, you know what I'm saying, I should label this identify good and evil. Or maybe, the found not necessarily the foundation, but I don't know, man. But it's gonna have to do with good and evil. And technically I was delving more into it, just so you get to understand how it's taking place around us. And when you see people who are losing their mind with envy, jealousy, and then what you call like a fucking generational pattern, it's just crazy. You're dealing with other people, shadow, shadow, shadow self, shadow, shadow, shadow. So none of them taught you how to be real. So it's almost like this shit is crazy. It's almost like these niggas, your parents are asking you to raise them. Because it's like, here's the emotion that I didn't deal with. I'm gonna put that on you, okay? And then now they got the power to do it. And that's the crime. Oh, this shit goes deep. But those are what you have to overcome. But anyway, we're gonna leave it here. I see. You already know, man. Keep evolving, people.